man. Welcome back. As you can see, I'm upgrading some things already. The show is, as I have said, a work in progress, and a friend of mine pointed out the fact that I'm going to have trouble with music copyright infringement and all that stuff. So if I'm going to get to a point where I actually am earning dollar bills, y'all, right? If that's going to happen, yeah, man, I can't be snagging on other people's music. You know what I'm saying? So I downloaded some stuff from Google. It's not too shabby. I kind of like this one. It's got kind of a blues rock vibe to it that I'm really okay with. But one of the things I had thought of is, I'm not the world's greatest singer, but maybe, possibly, I could write some lyrics to one of these things. And if I do, then, it's my theme song. I just don't know what to make the song about, so maybe I'll listen to it, because there's one that hit me. I really like the Black Crowes a lot, right? So I found this one. There we go. Right? Pretty cool. If you like the Black Crowes, I do. I've seen them live. They were fantastic. They made Lenny Kravitz look boring, man. Anyway. Kind of like a catchphrase or something, a slogan or whatever for the show. So, here we go. So if I get my ugly mug off the screen, whoa, there we go. So back to the text-free background. I created this background. Originally my desktop was this nebula-looking thing, and I was like, well, if I'm going to superimpose my face over the top of this, then I probably should have a really cool custom wallpaper on my desktop. So I've got two versions. One has text, one does not. They are otherwise identical. There's a little story going on, so that if you were to see both sides, which I'm going to go ahead and show you. So that's the other side. And I actually probably should just walk you through it. So I'm going to do that. So if you look at the screen, you got Sputnik here. I almost put an Africa or bust thing on the side of the Sputnik, and it's a reference to a Devo song. Because in Space Junk, he says, the Sputnik hit Africa. Okay, so it's a little bit joke. So I've got the Sputnik and it's firing out the sound waves or radio waves or whatever, and we have the I guess a shield like effect. What that actually is a photograph from orbit of the Earth at night. And then I played with that throughout, and it's kind of hard to tell, but I have superimposed. If you look on the screen behind me, thing. I just thought it was really cool looking critter. Um, so I added that in. And then on the other screen, which we'll get to now, I have again, one of these critters here. the one of these uh, I have a couple of different kinds of plankton. That's a copepod. I'm not real sure what this thing is, but it's pretty cool looking. And again, and I used the earth in a couple of places, and did some effects to space it out. This is Enceladus. I just really like space stuff, man. It's amazing to me. I just get lost in the beauty of creation, and it's just something that I never get tired of looking at, and it can get quite distracting. As I'm creating different graphics in Photoshop, I have a tendency to get lost in the work, so I'm better at reining it in than I used to be. I used to just go hog wild, but compositionally speaking, I think this one's really well done, and I'm going to do more like it. Um, as far as the show is concerned, what is this YouTube channel going to be about? Maybe nothing. Maybe the George Costanza attack from Seinfeld. Nothing can certainly turn into something. Um, I had scripted out this whole Super Bowl thing, and I was really cramming to get it done last weekend, and it didn't happen. And I don't know. I think that that's fortunate. I don't think that scripting is probably the way I ought to go because I'm better at free form when it comes to creativity. So when I create these videos, I use a lot of different software. So for 3D effects, like the money effect you saw earlier, I'll use Blender. So I have Photoshop. I do a lot of my tech stuff. This is the fake dollar bill that I duplicated. I did all this stuff today, just real quick. There's my text, which is kind of floating and bouncing around the screen periodically as the show goes on, where brain cells go to die. There it is. It's not a huge graphic. I suppose I could do all this stuff if I was a purist, there are people who go, oh, well, you could do this in Premiere Pro and this. And I'm not a purist, man. The idea is to get the vision in place and working. And there's no reason not to mix up the different creative softwares. There's no reason not to do it. I don't know why people are afraid of doing that. I guess because most likely a lot of people are specialized. So somebody who's, they're a video editor, they know a lot about Premiere Pro, maybe a little or a lot about After Effects, some about Photoshop, and then beyond that, it's kind of like a done deal. I've known people who are really good at After Effects, know nothing about Premiere Pro, know nothing about Illustrator, but they're good with Photoshop. In the sign business, obviously, lots and lots of people are good with Illustrator and Photoshop and CorelDRAW. So I know how to use all these things, and I see no reason not to combine them. I create in Blender my 3D effects. So, my dollar bills thing that you saw, I created earlier today, and it's right here. So if I just hit my space bar and let it run, you can see, it's untextured and everything. But man, in Blender, this is the latest version. They did some incredible improvements to the rendering. So if I wanted a very photorealistic render, I would go to Cycles and use that, and then I could render that out, and it takes a little bit longer because it's a much more detailed render. But I was in a pinch for time, and I'm not a fan of Eevee, and that's their newest render engine. So I don't like the way it looks because I like I do mostly still shots, and I'm used to doing mostly still shots because I've up until recently had fairly slow computers. So I can come in here and that's pretty good. I mean that's a low sample rate, and I can quick denoise that thing, and my video card, which is an RTX 2080, will actually go in and you can see all this noise in here on the dollar over my shoulder. Well, there, it's gone, and that's a quick denoise, and it does it a lot faster than setting the sample rate up so high that it takes your computer all day to render the single image. However, I needed this done today. So I used the EV engine on a pretty low sample rate. Let's see what happens. And let me reduce myself a little bit here. So I went ahead and I rendered the whole thing out in Eevee. And I'm going to do that again, but I want to get a folder that's not going to overwrite my existing work. So I can render this out in here. I can back this thing up, and if I do this now, it's going to render that animation while we're talking, or while you're listening and I'm talking, but it happens super fast, and it kind of blew my mind because I had some laundry running. I was like, I'll render this and I'll go do some laundry, make lunch, do this, that, and the other thing. So I've got these on Bluetooth headphones, and I can hear what's going on my computer as I walk around the house. And all of a sudden I hear a chime, and it was finished. I mean, it didn't take a few minutes. You can see it right now. It's going through. It's already on frame 75. That's fast. I mean, some of that is my computer. I've got a good computer, and I'm not really trying to push the limits. I used to do that with my old computer. What I'm trying to do now is rein it in because I have something capable of production at a level I've never had before. And I'm just really stoked about that. So like I said, here you can see it's rendered this, and I'd let it finish, but I'm really not interested in letting it finish. So I bring that, the TIFFs, the raw TIFF files. I don't bother with uh, making it an AVI or anything. I just render the TIFFs out. So if I come in here to my 3D work is where I have it. Yep, dollar bills, y'all. So the video files, I have the raw TIFFs right here, all 700 of them. They're just individual images. If I just open this up, you can just look at the picture. It's pretty good render, right? I mean, it did that in like a few seconds. It's amazing. It's just truly amazing. So I'm done with digressing there and bragging on how great Blender is. Again, like I said, there's my money texture, which, it's fake stuff. I've got don't trust this, it's fake on here, not legal tender, so this ain't money, y'all, things like that. Just having a little fun with it. So this whole thing, including post-production, do not save that, in Premiere Pro and After Effects, everything that I did, done today, done this afternoon, and that includes having a vet visit because my cat got UTI. You know what it is, right? Yeah, you know what it is. I don't have to spell it out for you. But it's been a stressful few days. We got all the doors closed in the house, so she only has access to the common areas, which, we have furniture with plastic on it and stuff. I feel bad for the animal. She's suffering, but she's got some medicine and she got an injection.
Check this out. This thing. You jam it down their throat and push this and pop it. Pops the pill right in. No, she coughed it out. Not once, not twice, but 3 times, and then tried to force it. It's just not going to happen. So the injection it is, and hopefully it fixes it.
We've got some drops for her to drink, and hopefully she'll be back to normal soon because it's been pretty awful. So I had to deal with that this morning, as well as getting my son fed and off to school, and um, regular dad stuff, doing laundry, washing dishes, things to help my wife out because she'll probably get home late from work. Um, yeah, man, living the dream, right? So hopefully, in the not too distant future, I will have a more cohesive idea of what the show is going to be about. Right now, it's just lots of creativity, creative juices flowing, and brainstorming out loud, and kind of getting all this out in front of people. So I have a wish list because I did upgrade the technology here recently, if you want to call it an upgrade of technology, because what we actually have is a crude chroma key. It's a blanket. It works, right? It's actually not a blanket. It's the material to make a blanket. But, you know, it doesn't look great. I've got a low def camera, so, it's getting the job done. But if I leave that chroma key on, I can at least get the effect I'm going for where I'm superimposed over my screen. It looks kind of cool. Um, I would also like to get some better lighting. I've found some lights that you plug into a USB port, so I would need a multi-port USB extender. It's called a hub. It doesn't extend things. It's not a long cord. It's a hub. Basically, where I could plug it in and plug multiple devices into the same USB port 3.0. None of this stuff uses a whole lot of none of this stuff is very intensive on the processor, so I should be able to plug multiple devices up to it with no problem. A better chroma key that isn't fuzzy. Um, high def camera with a light ring, that'd be great. Things like that. So, but the show is progressing. We're getting somewhere. Not real sure where it is. Maybe next time we'll talk about cooking.
Over the toasted bread cubes, pour a mixture made by browning lightly 3/4 cup of chopped celery and 3/4 cup of onion in 3/4 cup of butter or margarine. Then add 1 tablespoon of chopped parsley, 1 tablespoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon pepper, 3/4 teaspoon of poultry seasoning, the giblets, and 1 1/2 cups of the rich giblet broth. Note especially, this should moisten only lightly, since the dressing draws moisture from the turkey itself and could become too soggy if too much liquid is added.
Paint drying. I do like watching water evaporate.
Yep, there's another way water can get into the air. The water on the doghouse roof dried pretty fast in the warm sun. This water disappears faster because the stove is hotter. This change from water we can see to water vapor we can't see is called evaporation.
Things like that. Pretty exciting stuff. So I don't know. If you have better ideas, leave them in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Please give me a like. If you have not yet, please subscribe. It's just a click away. So thank you very much for your time. I hope you have a fantastic afternoon, and thanks for watching.